DNA and epigenetics. The molecular source code DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid, is the hereditary material in humans. It is a complex molecule that contains all of the information necessary to build and maintain an organism. It is often called the blueprint of life. Epigenetics is the study of how your behaviors and environment cause changes that affect the way your genes work. Unlike genetic changes, epigenetic changes do not change your DNA sequence, and they are reversible. They change how your body reads a DNA sequence. Most people think their health is a game of luck, a roll of the genetic dice. But what if I told you that you aren't just reading a book written by your parents? What if you are actively writing the sequels? To understand how to live to 100 and beyond, we have to go back to the very beginning, to the microscopic level. Today, we are exploring the two most powerful forces in your body, DNA and epigenetics. One is the hardware, the other is the software, and together, they are the absolute key to the fountain of youth. First, let's look at DNA. To understand the scale of this molecule, it sets your eye color, your height, and your innate predispositions. In the world of longevity, DNA is your starting line. It is the hand you were dealt at birth, a fixed, digital record of your ancestry. However, DNA is not destiny. We now know that the code is only half of the story. There is a famous saying in modern longevity science: DNA loads the gun, but environment pulls the trigger. This brings us to the real hero of our story, epigenetics. If DNA is the hardware of a computer, epigenetics is the software that tells it what to do. The word epigenetic literally means above genetics. It is the study of the chemical modifications that sit on top of your DNA and regulate its expression. While your DNA sequence is like a printed musical score, epigenetics is the conductor of the orchestra, deciding which instruments play loudly and which ones remain silent. Unlike your DNA, which is set in stone, your epigenome is fluid. It consists of chemical compounds, specifically methyl groups, that attach to your DNA. They do not change the code itself, but they act like dimmer switches for your life force. One primary mechanism is DNA methylation. When a methyl group attaches to a gene, it acts like a stop sign, turning that gene off. Another involves histones, the proteins that DNA wraps around. If the DNA is wrapped tightly, the cell cannot read it. If it is wrapped loosely, the gene is active. When we talk about biological age versus chronological age, we are talking about the state of these switches. As we get older, our epigenetic landscape begins to shift. Over time, the switches that should be on to protect our cells start to turn off. Meanwhile, the genes that promote decay start to turn on. Scientists call this epigenetic noise. Aging, at its core, is a loss of cellular information. But the science of 2026 is showing us that this information is not actually gone. It is just being misread. We can now measure this through epigenetic clocks to see exactly how fast your body is aging on the inside. The most profound discovery in the last decade is that we can influence these chemical tags. Your daily habits, the food you eat, the way you move, and how you manage stress are the fingers that flip these switches. You are a biological DJ, mixing the tracks of your own health in real time. By providing the right signals, we can command our cells to enter a repair mode rather than a decay mode. You are not a victim of your heredity. You are the architect of your biology. Understanding the relationship between the fixed blueprint of DNA and the fluid switches of epigenetics is the first step in mastering the human machine. It is the difference between simply growing older and consciously evolving. This is the new frontier. This is the science of the second chance.